New charges of dirty tricks by the Republicans during the presidential campaign. And a Bush appointee is forced to quit the State Department. New evidence that millions of Americans with heart disease are getting too much testing for too much money and not enough benefit. Also, Eye on America. Tonight, Stalking a Killer. The story of breast cancer victims taking on the establishment and winning. This is the CBS Evening News. Good evening, Dan Rather reporting. The use of the U.S. State Department for partisan political purposes took another turn today. The State Department official supposedly in charge of passports suddenly was sent packing. The Republican political appointee was fired following reports that she led more than one hunt for dirt on President Bush and Vice President Quayle's 1992 opponents. CBS News correspondent Eric Ingberg has the latest.
Betty Tamposi was dumped by President Bush as the nation's top passport official today, amid revelations she had ordered in the weeks just prior to the election, searches of Ross Perot's passport files, in addition to those of Democrat Bill Clinton.
She'll be leaving her office by the end of the day tomorrow.
The hurry-up ouster followed publication of a government memo showing that 3 weeks before Election Day, members of Tamposi's staff researched the passport application files for H. Ross Perot. They removed one application and 2 letters. Perot called it a gross abuse of power, and the congressional committee that oversees state added the Perot case to its ongoing investigation of the Clinton passport search.
Even a paranoid's right some of the time, and it was a terribly improper use of the State Department, of a governmental agency, to perform political functions, to invade the privacy rights of individuals. Even though they're presidential candidates, they still have some fundamental rights.
Only 2 weeks before rummaging through Perot's files, another Tamposi search party had made its first foray into the Federal Records Center outside Washington, seeking the passport records for Clinton and his mother.
It's not politics. It's a violation of law. The Privacy Act prohibits doing this.
Tamposi is a well-connected Republican from New Hampshire whose political appointment would have expired with the end of the Bush administration. The decision to throw her over the side now was reached after Acting Secretary of State Eagleberger called the president, reportedly enraged over politicization of his agency. While Republicans cautioned against jumping to conclusions of any wrongdoing, there was mounting concern even in the GOP about the new revelations.
You know, I'm a Republican who was in college during the Watergate years, and I remember how devastating it was to the Republican Party. I thought we had learned a very strong lesson about abuse of power.
Investigations by Congress and the State Department are now looking into who ordered this passport snooping. One puzzling question is why. The records that were searched contained no information about where Perot and Clinton traveled, only the applications they filled out when they obtained their passports. Eric Ingberg, CBS News, Washington.
A real estate agent said today the Bushes have appointments to go house hunting in Houston, where they have had only a hotel room, but where they say they plan to live after the White House. Incoming President Clinton, jogging in Little Rock today, may be visiting the White House as soon as next week. A Clinton spokesman says Mr. Bush has extended an invitation to the president-elect and his wife Hillary. One of the things Governor Clinton may do when he takes office is end the ban on homosexuals in the U.S. military. That ban is already being challenged in court, and today a federal judge in California reaffirmed his order telling the U.S. Navy to take back a sailor who was discharged because he said he is gay. David Martin at the Pentagon has the latest. David?
Dan, if Petty Officer Keith Meinhold reports for his duties to his duty station at Moffett Field in California on Thursday and raises his right hand, the Navy says it will, as the judge has ordered, reinstate him. But this does not mean